Once upon a time, in a small, serene village nestled among the rolling hills of Iroko, there lived a young woman named Amina. She was known throughout the village for her beauty, kindness, and intelligence. Amina had long, dark hair that shimmered under the African sun, and her bright eyes were the color of the deep blue sky above. She had a heart full of love for everyone in the village, and her laugh was a song that made even the most hardened hearts smile. However, not all in Iroko shared the same love for Amina. There was one person, her cousin Zara, who harbored a deep hatred for her. Zara was a beautiful woman too, but unlike Amina, she had a heart filled with envy and jealousy. Zara had been the village's most admired girl before Amina's arrival, but when Amina turned 16, her charm, wisdom, and compassion quickly captured the villagers' hearts. Zara, feeling overshadowed, began to resent Amina, though she kept her feelings hidden behind a smiling face. One evening, the village gathered for the annual Harvest Festival, a celebration of the earth's bounty. Music filled the air, and the scent of roasted yam and goat stew drifted on the breeze. The villagers danced, laughed, and sang, but Amina couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. As she twirled in the middle of the dance circle, her eyes caught Zara's glare from the edge of the crowd. There was no smile on Zara's face, only coldness. "Why does Zara look at me that way?" Amina wondered, but she shrugged off the thought, deciding to enjoy the festivities. At that very moment, a mystery began to unfold in the village. The crops that had been planted earlier that year suddenly began to wither, despite the perfect weather. The elders were troubled, and the village leaders gathered in secret to discuss what could be the cause. Whispers spread like wildfire. Some believed it was a curse. Others speculated it was due to a dark secret buried in the village's past. Zara, sensing an opportunity, approached the village elders and offered to perform a ritual to cleanse the land. She was known for her knowledge of ancient village customs and her connection with the spiritual world. She promised to restore the harvest in exchange for a small favor from the village, a favor that no one could refuse. The village agreed, desperate to restore the crops, and Zara's ritual began. As she chanted, Amina watched from the edge of the crowd, feeling a growing sense of unease. She knew that Zara's offer seemed too good to be true. She had never trusted her cousin's sudden desire to help, and her suspicions grew as Zara's eyes sparkled with a strange gleam. Days passed, and Amina began to notice strange things happening around the village. People were becoming sick, the children were restless, and the harvest continued to fail. Whispers of the curse grew louder. One night, as Amina was walking home from the village well, she heard a voice call out to her from the shadows. "Amina," the voice said softly, "I know what Zara is doing. You must stop her before it's too late." Amina turned around, startled, and saw an old woman standing in the moonlight. Her face was wrinkled with age, but her eyes gleamed with wisdom. "Who are you?" Amina asked. "I am Mama Wura," the old woman replied. "I was once an elder in this village, but I left after a terrible betrayal. Zara is using dark magic to curse this land. She wants the village to suffer so that she can take its riches and power for herself." Amina's heart sank. She couldn't believe it. Her own cousin, the woman who had once been her closest friend, was behind the village's misery. But why? Mama Wura continued. "There's a way to break the curse, but it requires love. You must confront Zara and remind her of the love we once shared. You see, Zara's hatred has poisoned her heart, but love is the only thing powerful enough to cleanse it." Amina's heart was heavy with fear and sorrow, but she knew what she had to do. She gathered her courage and set off to find Zara. When she arrived at Zara's hut, she found her cousin sitting in the dim light of a fire, her face hidden in shadows. The air between them was thick with tension, but Amina stepped forward, her voice soft but firm. "Zara, I know what you've done. You've cursed the land. You've poisoned the hearts of our people with hatred and greed," Amina said, her voice trembling. "But it doesn't have to be this way. We were once sisters, once friends. I know the pain you've carried inside, but the only way to heal is to let go of the anger and embrace love again. Zara looked up, her eyes filled with sorrow and regret. I never wanted it to go this far, Amina. I was so jealous of you. You had everything: love, respect, happiness. And I didn't know how to stop the envy inside me. But now, I've hurt everyone, and I don't know how to fix it. Amina stepped closer, holding out her hand. Zara, it's never too late to choose love. Let me help you. Together, we can break this curse and restore the village. Tears filled Zara's eyes as she took Amina's hand. For the first time in years, her heart felt light. The darkness that had clouded her soul began to lift. As the two cousins stood together, the first light of dawn broke over the village. The crops began to flourish once more, and the villagers gathered to celebrate the healing that had taken place. Amina and Zara walked back to the village, side by side, as the people cheered and sang songs of gratitude. The once deep divide between them was gone, replaced by a bond stronger than ever before, and as the sun rose higher, tears filled Amina's eyes, not from sorrow, but from joy. She had forgiven her cousin, and in doing so, had healed a wounded heart. Zara, too, shed tears of relief, knowing that she had been given a second chance. The village of Iroko would never forget the day when love overcame hatred and mystery was replaced by understanding. The end.